I'm here trying to figure out skew correction, and everything's perfectly clear to me for what it's saying here. And this is for, I guess you would, I don't know, call this. This is when it would be laying on the bed flat. So when I'm doing these measurements, first it wants you to do A to C. So that's going to end up being from this point to this point, which is all fine and dandy. Then it wants you to do B to D. So that's going to be measuring from here all the way to here. And then it's going to want A to D. So that's going to be from here all the way over to here. And that I'm all clear on. But now I want to do it vertically. You know, this is the horizontal test. So now I'm left, I did this test, and this test accomplishes the same thing as what I just showed here. But now, for the Y plane though, I need to do all that again. So I'm now confused. I need to do another A to C, B to D, and A to D. But what I'm confused on is, okay, this is how it is on the printer. So this is my x-axis, and it's marked X. This is my y-axis, it's marked Y. So to figure out the Y to Z, you know, if you go down in Klipper's documentation, they talk about how you can do YZ and XZ. So if I was going to do XZ, now I'm left wondering, for the three measurements, what the equivalent of AC is. Would this be A? And then this would be C. This would be B, this corner here, down to here being D. That's what I'm assuming. And then if I come over here, well, actually I skipped one. Then they'd want the A to D. So I'm assuming A would be here, and this whole wall, you know, so it's from here to here across. A to D, I'm thinking. So now I'm wondering, when I go to this side, where is A? Is this still considered A? This would be C. And would this be B to D? And then would this then be the A wall? And then this the D wall. That's my line of thinking, at least. So basically what I've done, because I'm not sure on the YZ and the XZ planes that I just spoke of, but let's open up my notepad. Using this test here, I measured from this corner there all the way up to here, and that's where you see my 70.65. Then I went and did my B and D, so that was this corner here. I measured all the way down to here, and I came up with 70.78. Then they want the A to D, so with that I measured from here all the way over to here, and I came up with 50.13. See, this is another style test. It's bigger, but it still works the same way. You know, so A, you measure from here to C. Because it's a 100 millimeter print, you're going to get numbers larger than my numbers. But as long as they're all within proportion, you know, this is a 50 millimeter test, so all my numbers will reflect that, with Klipper. But anyways, I did the A to D, and then I did from the edge here all the way up to here. That's the A to D. Anyhow, I took all those measurements, and then I came up with this command here, set SKEW XY equals, then you have 3 things to put in. So the first one, which I'm assuming is their X. I don't know what these stand for, but there's 3 entries. So 70.65 was the AC. Then you do the BD, 70.78. So you see that there, just a comma, no space, another comma. Then for the third measurement, 50.13. So there's my 50.13. So this is the command I typed into main sail console. Copy, copy. See, I was experimenting, and it doesn't like this command because I only have 1 measurement for XZ and 1 measurement for X and YZ. You have to have 3 separated by comma. So it's going to be 70 point something by, comma, 70 point something, comma. Then it should be 50 point something, but I haven't gone that far yet. That's part of why I made this video. And I think I've answered my question as I'm making this video. But anyways, just to proceed further. So I did the set SKEW command. So let's come over here. Okay. Go to console. And right there, I paste in my command. Set SKEW. And all that. And it accepts that, so there I have SKEW correction put in, and basically you just have to add the option to your printer configuration file to tell it to have SKEW correction. You do that before entering the command and doing all the tests. So yeah, there it is. That's all I did. SKEW correction. So because I have that in the firmware, it allows SKEW correction to be calibrated. So then we close this out. But yeah, so then if I go and kick off a print now before I run a bed mesh, let's get down to my startup config, and you'll see the example of what I do. Sorry, bear with me. Almost there. Here it is. So you can see I kick off the print. It does the home, the G28. Next I have it set to load my SKEW profile, and it loads up the profile I saved. I haven't showed you that command yet, but I will here in a second. So when the print then does the bed mesh just afterwards, it has the SKEW applied. It then does the print, and then at the end of the print, I have a SKEW profile remove command. So let's get out of this to actually save the command. I just did the set SKEW command here, you see. Let me see if I can scroll back through my commands. There's the load. Here it is. That's how I saved. So, before I entered this command to set the SKEW, then I did the command to save it, and then after that, I ran a save config. And with those other commands added to the print startup, it'll then be good. And printing you know, with the SKEW calibration settings you've set. So here's one on the printer that I'm going to be remeasuring the dimensions that I had, and going to be comparing it because this is with the new SKEW settings applied. So I'll be able to measure that and validate that it's within SKEW. Hopefully this is somewhat helpful. Sorry it's so long.